So here's an idea. If you are gonna be salty, could you at least paint a killer? Don't, oh, no, don't tell me what to do. Yeah, you don't tell me how to think and live the beat. No, I'm not you. Thank God, thank God, don't tell me what to do. Oh, no, don't tell me what to do. Yeah, you don't tell me how to think and
Less than 1 minute.
Don't tell me what to do. Yeah.
Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from the Treasures with Kaz. And I was just getting ready in case someone would come and try and take the diaries that I don't have from my house. Team, how are we? It is an interesting conversation we're going to have tonight for the simple reason. Tribal music, please. Boom. Thank you, Mr. Music. It's very important we understand how rules of engagement, escalation of force, consequences for actions can happen when we least expect it. A fraction of a second to make a decision, a lifetime to pay the price to the piper. So this will affect you as a civilian. It'll affect you as a bystander, as a good Samaritan. It will affect you from a prosecutor's as well as a defensive posture, whether you are the assailant or in actual fact the victim. So we can all win from here, and I'm sure that almost all of us have an understanding of just how close we can come to rolling the dice and it coming unfavourably. We have a particular video we'll be looking at today, which is maybe something you have or haven't seen. Nearly 10 million people have already, about an incident that just happened in Las Vegas. It only goes for 52 seconds. It's going to be interactive. We're going to allow you to see the full video. And then what's going to happen is we'll let you make a bit of a decision. We'll have a communique. And then what we'll do is we'll play it, extrapolate it, stop it in different areas, and then see where do you fit in on this one. Do you change your mind? Do you look at it from the perspective of the perpetrator? Who is the perpetrator? Is it the thieves? Is it the shopkeeper? Because it could stop you and make you maybe take a tactical pause next time you're at a pub and think this could about to turn into a brouhaha. Can I afford to do a stretch in jail, lose my career, lose my family, never taste a cheeseburger again, or have anything I'm addicted to because where I'm going, it's just going to be noodles and Cheetos and maybe a battle buddy in the shower of the same sex. If you stray that way, maybe, but you don't get to choose the partner and swipe right. Let's hear it. Our sponsor for today, if we had one, would be Coca-Cola. Don't like their political stance, but I love the flavour of the bubbles. Thank you to all those that are out there. Guys and gals, not sure what's happening in your lives at the moment. We've been pretty flat out here. Looked after a buddy. He reached out, said he needed some help on the weekend, a bloke. And I decided, okay, broke my rules and went and had drinks with a civvy. Something I never do. Okay, I did it this time for him and let him choose the time when it was time to go home. He was happy from the moment we caught up to the moment we disembarked in opposite directions, and I'm really glad I went. Had a great time drinking the ginger beers. If you're having a hard time, remember, it's cyclical. There's going to be times when the troughs feel deep and feel long, and there's going to be times when all of a sudden you have a peak. So just remember, if you hang on long enough, you'll see the other side. Dave Penson, how we going in Nam, mate? Welcome, and good morning, Vietnam. Kane Higgins, how you going from up north, mate? Hope you're doing well, my friend. And Eats, there you are. Good to have you here. Joshy Fawns, AU, always here. And we've got get on the Patreon if you want a great one advice from Kaz. Thank you very much, mate. We've got a whole bunch of new people on Patreon, and I've been spending a lot of time talking to them, and there's some fantastic individuals, that have families, that are going this weekend to go down to Kapuka, etc. Great. We've got some bloody great phone calls from Kapuka. You know, those that are at Kapuka, they're at 3 platoon at the moment. Senor Daniel, send us some photos, okay, with landscape of your actual room. I need some backdrops of the actual rooms that you are sleeping in. You know, there's nothing secret about those, team. You can send it to me, no problems. Matty C, finally made it to a live stream. Good to have you here, Matty C. No one can say no to C's. Paroxysm, past OSB. See you out there. Paro, not paralytic. When are you going on your induction for officer? Is it January? Because if so, we've got a whole bunch of other applicants that are going there with you for the same cohort. Well done, that man. Around, have you got your card yet, mate? I've sent it off. For those that don't know what we're talking about, the fitness cards. You know, for those that are on Patreon, I'll send them to you for next for free. Okay, if you haven't got one, you need one of the cards. I haven't got it there to, here's one here. Simply go down to Patreon, jump on, you get your phone call, and you also get your fitness card, your fitness resume, so you can flick that in the face of anyone that's at the recruiting and say, this is where I stand at the moment. I'm A-OK, I'm good to go. You need me. You can even say it to the ladies, I guess. We met some nice ladies on the weekend. Okay, I didn't follow any options up. Cameron, how's it going? Kaz, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I dare someone to join Patreon. I dare you, if you haven't already. But I'd be just as happy with a free subscription. Just subscribe to the channel. Great to have you here. Guys and gals, we're just waiting until we get to 700 people on, and then we'll start playing it. No, we won't worry about that because we're not going to get to 700 people, are we? Yeah. All right. What we'll do is we're going to quickly play the video. Right, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. Right. But I want you to be fairly flat-footed when you first look at this and see what your thoughts are. And then we'll extrapolate the information together. Understand that rules of engagement is something that was a major part of my life for more than 2 decades. You know? But in saying that, it's rarely clean cut. So we're going to dig on this one together and we'll see what you think. Keep the emotion out of it and just look at it from the point of view of common sense. Okay. Not that one, Miss Jane. Not that one. This one. All right. Here we go from the start. 52 seconds.
Yeah, guys. Huh? Why are you guys wearing masks like that?
Say what?
Can you guys just leave?
Nah, I'm just gonna go down.
Jacob. Wait. Can I just get the... Alright, take the money in it. Can I keep the coins? I need the coins. Bro, okay.
Oh, I'm dead! I'm dead.
And that's it at the moment. We'll come back to it. So just let that ferment for a second as we put this down here for a second. And what did you just see? What did we just see? Okay. Lost audio. Holy Lightfoot. Hi guys, not expecting that. Lost audio. Yeah, we don't give warnings out, team. We're all adults here. I marked the videos down that it's for adults. And I'm not going to put on something there that has gore in it either. I am respectful to yous like that. And now I've told you again and again how to pronounce it. I think I need to go somewhere else. Mate, I'm not trying to offend you, bro. It's not a stand. I've never seen the name in my life, okay? Haroon. Around. Don't be offended, mate. I've got no dramas. I hope you don't either. Did you expect that to swap the floor with the bloke? He did. Okay. I missed the fermentation process. Cameron, justified initial, in my opinion, unaware of their intentions once they cross the safety barrier after the person tries to leave. Turns, I don't think it should have continued. Okay. Well, common sense says don't rob joints, don't get stabbed. He should give the bayonet assault course a crack, says Herb. Dave D, first impression, he went too far. His own life wasn't at risk from what I saw. Okay. What you might not hear is the verbality of if that's such a word that actually went on there, and we'll strip that back now and have a look at it, because it is important that we understand. Okay, so let's go back and have another quick look at that one, and then we'll do it side by side. Okay. Righto, so from the start. This is in Las Vegas. It only happened a couple of days ago, team. So let's look at these guys as they're walking in. They look like they're from spring break. They look like kids. They do. And they walk like kids. You can tell if they've ever done a robbery before, highly likely this is the first one. I don't know where they got their balaclava from or how long they were wearing it before they went in there, but chances are they've been picked up by cameras before they went in there, especially being Las Vegas. This guy, the Asian fella, we don't know his background, and neither do the people that have walked into his shop, and we continue on.
Why are you guys wearing masks, bro?
So instantly he's asked, why are you wearing the masks? He knows why. He just wants to see what's going on.
Say what?
Say what? Okay, the guy's lifted his mask up. You can tell by his voice now, he's basically a kid. There's no confidence with these at all. And his minion that is there beside him, you can tell he's about to fill that bag of cigarettes. And what we know is smoking kills. Continue on, Kaz.
Can you guys just leave?
Okay, at this point, he's just reached down. You saw the mouse button go. He's asked him, can you just please leave? At this stage, what he could have done, what he should have done, is maybe verbalised, said, I've just activated an alert. The camera is picking you up. You better get out of here. I believe the police will be here in a moment. You are not the first people to get arrested at this store. That would have probably been the lowest level of rules of engagement you could use without having to go up higher. As we see at the moment, there is no weapons present, there is no aggressive stance, there is no threat of violence coming from the guys that are coming in here just to stunt their growth for the durry. What am I going to do? You grab the tip jar, got it? Who gives a tip to someone that's selling them cancer in the first place? Don't understand. I think they're embarrassed. They realise they've screwed up. At this stage, what they've done is already enough to get him in a whale of shit, with the police. But I believe they're underage.
Jacob, can I just get the... Alright, take the money in it. I keep the coins. I need the coins.
Excellent response at the moment by the shopkeeper. He's basically said, take the money, get out of here. He's probably not even going to press charges. He might not even call the police after this. Who knows? He's got them on the camera. They'll look to see if they come in again. Chances are these guys have already cased this joint, been in there before, and they'll be able to pick them up when they didn't have a mask on, when they were looking to where the valuables were inside the shop. Okay.
Bro, okay.
Bam. He's jumped the counter. He's not coming towards the shopkeeper. Okay, the other guy has chosen 6 o'clock. Dave Penson, Diddy Mao from the village. And bam. The attack is sustained. It jumps straight from get out of here, team, to lethal intent. He is going there absolutely with the intent to take this man's life. Absolutely. There's no other way you can look at it. That's not grievous bodily harm. The result might be the actual intent was to take the man's life. Okay, let's see what you've got to say at the moment. Okay, Navy veteran. Bloody hate you. So do I. I believe that juvenile offenders should be named and shamed just like any adults. put their face up there. Whatever happens to them, and they should have been born to better parents, or their parents should have put curfews on them if they thought that they were starting to go off course. Kusei, good evening, everyone. G'day, Kusei. How you going, mate? Mr. Patterson today watching YouTube with shop robberies. Yeah, we're talking about rules of engagement today, mate. Basically, that's what we're doing because this incident only happened a couple of days ago, Mr. P. And we're just talking about this because what we're seeing a lot of is individuals, how the relevance of this is most people from this channel either have been or are going towards some sort of military, law enforcement or intelligence branch or even paramedic responders careers. So it's important they understand when they protect themselves, how to protect themselves, how to escalate, and that you can end up becoming the one at the court bench instead of the assailants if you overreact. It's a hard one as the laws are different there. Who knows? They're not really that much different, mate. Who knows if one of them has a pistol hiding? Okay, they normally would lead out with a pistol, verbalise, show a weapon, you know, or give the actual verbalisation, give us this, or, and then state what's going to happen next. Because the questions I'd be asking you in a second, Cameron definitely went overboard with the attack, could have quite easily stood back and let them know he had a weapon and was willing to defend himself. Cameron, you can tell you know what you're talking about, mate. Totally agree. The Wasp, yeah, I'm all for lethal self-defense, but Shopkeeper upped it too much. Absolutely. Yeah, and the good thing about a gun is you can pick it up as long as you are willing to use it. Don't pick it up if you're not, and let them know. Last chance. Get out. You know? Jacqueline Dixon, Mr. P is in the house. Here he is. To the dojo, how are bags to be considered dangerous as a weapon? Well, they're not. That's what we're stating at the moment, mate. We're having a conversation here because if we sit here isolated and we look at a video like this, it's quite easy for us to either justify, you know, what happened, you know, by saying, oh, well, they shouldn't have done this. But at the end of the day, that will not be a defense when you have someone that's paid $300,000 a year who's on the other side of the counter, or a father who's coming after you, okay, for taking out his kid. Who knows? You know, like it says in the report, he doesn't know who they know or what sort of reprisals are going to come their way or whatever, you know. Lightfoot, before I learnt to fight, BJJ won't help you in this situation, neither will the judo. You know, if you wrap up with someone, you've got to assume, especially with two of them, that you might escalate something. You're in a position where you get jacked as well. You need to keep your distance. At the same time, based on previous stabbing within Queensland, things could have quite easily escalated within that short distance between them. Yep. There's none of this tonight is to talk about an exact answer. You know, but what it is here to talk about is potentially, bam, reasonable or excessive force. And you guys across the board seem to be saying, yep, you know, excessive at this stage. Okay, in Australia, no way that would be looked at as self-defense. I don't think so. I probably would get into shit for having the knife. Yeah, probably, even if you're in a knife shop, Arcane. So, let's see some thumbs up for reasonable force, thumbs down for excessive. And we're not going to judge you either or for. This is about a conversation. Yeah, quite frankly, believe his initial reaction is justified. Don't really know how far dickheads are willing to go. But the carry through seems pure adrenaline. Yeah, I think across the board, you know, we'll talk about it in a moment. It'd be interesting to see what people are saying. So thumbs up means reasonable, or was it the other way? Lost audio, he's sitting on the fence. Thank you very much, Plummy Coast. Senor Plumber Coast. He is still alive. You know, and he's also white, which is probably the reason why this has turned out a little bit better. You know, if that had been, you know, a black kid that was killed, and at the moment there is hundreds of thousands of these incidents happening a day across the USA now that Democrat cities have said certain amount of criminal theft below a certain level is not going to make it to the courtroom. That's setting people up for these sort of situations, left and right. I have to keep a swung the knife about, the kid would have run. Yeah, I reckon I would have too, James. Aussie bloke, time, place, circumstance. So she handled it at the beginning really well, but it escalated too far. Yep, and we'll get to that point in 2 seconds. Maurice, right? Riots galore if he was black, I agree. That's how you get a new pair of Reeboks. Navy veteran. You know, he's going to keep it clean in the ocean there with a chill out sign. Right, next question. Bam. Well, let's look at things from the perspective of the guy that got stabbed now, because no one gives a shit anymore that it was about a robbery. You know, now it comes down to if the member had died, crippled, etc. And the defence lawyer is talking to Johnny Nguyen, who is the guy behind the counter. What's your defence, mate? What made you go from just standing still to going straight to 100% stabbing someone in the spine while their back is turned to you? What is your defence? What is it? Now, that's a question, team. If you've got an answer, what could he possibly say? I know what some will say, but I won't say it until you guys write it. Mate, you used the wrong, you're a game. I don't know what you mean by that. Perceived threat versus actual threat. Yep. I get an element of surprise, but especially with how nervous and skittish those blokes were, just presenting the threat would be enough to send them packing. I agree, Sean. Plead guilty. Josh, he's not even going to deny it. Yeah, guilty. You got me. Yep. Imminent threat to another person's life. Okay. If he uses that for his defence, there's not a person on earth other than his parents are going to believe it, are they? Yep. Would you believe it if he said he thought his life was in danger? Because naturally they're not going to go, oh, okay, if you say so. There's no hashtag believe me all women in this case. They're going to say, at what stage? And I'll play the video back to him over and over and over and over again and go, tell me when you thought your life was in danger, mate. Tell me when. Tell me when. And you'd better have a time. And they don't accept the fact that you only had a second to make a decision while they've got a lifetime to convict you. That's not the way they look at it. What was the intent of the customer? Using great Vietnamese name. Well done, I say. Okay, we can say all that. We can say that. And, you know, I'm not here to check what your thoughts are on that. People have had a gut full of thieves in this world, and thieves in the army get looked after in a particularly bad way, or they used to. But just remember, you will be questioned and you will be asked and you will extrapolate the video, and they will say, in this evidence, you need to be able to show me exactly why you chose that action. And if you can't, in front of a jury, you know, they're not going to see two kids that now have no masks on. One might even be dead or bloody crippled. You know, they're going to see them as the victims and you as the assailant. So just be aware of that. They're not emotionally attached to the situation. And then when the defence lawyers for the kids say that they've had a hard life, this happened, they were hungry, they were just after something that they could sell so that they could get some food to eat, you know, then, you know, they've got a long time to turn this into a Johnny Depp situation. Charlize D, my position as advocate would be if the defendant possesses mental health history, PTSD, that he would not be fit to suit the capacity of that of a regular person. Okay, so we're saying Charlize D, sorry about the name, they could be saying that he's been robbed before, he's been assaulted before, he's nearly had his life taken before, this happened, and he escalated. But his actions just didn't fit that. His actions didn't fit that perceived fear of what was going down. The mens rea element of law may not encompass an individual carrying special circumstances. I was at the door holding the door. Hey, I'm good, Papa Palps. How you going, mate? Plumber Coast, you could hear in the audio they were kids. He didn't need to stab 5 plus times. He went way too far. And maybe, Plumber, you and I are speaking from an older been around the block a few times situation. But I don't believe that the Johnny is a young, innocent kid either. He looks like he had some good street smarts. Arcane. It's weird watching this video. It seems like Johnny had more of a plan in that 10 seconds on what he will do than those kids had before they went in. Totally agree. Totally agree. Next question. Now the prosecutor judging the defendant's response, was it measured, reasonable, and is Johnny acting like he thinks his life is in danger, or is he the attacker and in line with threat? And in line with threat. With his threat. I don't even know what I was writing there. Too much sushi. The moment if you were getting a punch, would you know where he was hitting you with or what he could have pulled out? There was no previous threat. There was no verbalisation. You know, there was no aggressive posture. There was no weapons held out. You know, and the children's voice, you could tell these guys were can collectors at best. Let's go back to the video after we check this one out. No weapon, no threats. And I'm not trying to be a be-all, know-it-all, guys. I'm just going off what you would be thinking if you were in the jury and watch this. Straight away, we all go, oh, I've got a feeling, Jesus, that turned nasty fast. Right. Is Harry still with us? I hope he is. Okay. So let's go back to here again. Each video only goes 52 seconds, Tim.
Like that.
So look, his posture, he doesn't feel threatened. His hands are loose. His fingers are just tapping.
Can you guys just leave?
Yep. This is not the first time I believe he's had people come in.
Jacob, can I just get the... Alright, take the money in it. I keep the coins. I need the coins. Bro, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm dead! I'm dead.
And the body slam comes down. Right. Bodies hit the floor, bodies hit the floor. Right, where are we? Right, if you join the army at 18, train to be a killer for government, kill other in another country for reasons you do not care, or wait, if you can join the army at 18, train to be a killer for government, another country you do not care or know, then you are as an adult. There's a massive difference between someone who's trained in rules of engagement, and you will be trained in rules of engagement extensively before you go overseas by the Combat Training Centre. You'll be trained by referees. You'll be trained by commanders. You'll be led by commanders. And when you get over there, you'll be held accountable by a court of law, military law, on anything that you do wrong while under the banner of the flag of USA, Australia, etc. And there's a long raft of people who have lost careers and end up in jail for said things. You can become trained in army at 18 to be a killer, but you can't drink until 21. Yeah, I agree with you, Kenny, there. It is a really weird one. A weird one. Yeah, it's because at the end of the day, you know, if you can go overseas and you've got the judgment to carry a weapon system with live rounds by night, you know, behind your mate's back, and you can be trusted with that, then you can be trusted to have a couple of drinks in an enclosed environment. I believe when the Americans come over to Australia, they can drink below 21. It's more about their country's law, so they have to go by the laws of the land, so to speak. When they come to Australia, they can be relaxed. So that all depends on the trips, etc. Elijah, how you going, mate? How you going? Good chat today too, mate. He was technically safe around the other side of the counter. He chose to run back around the closer distance to the robber, who was purely facing our products. Yep. Did anyone notice too that Johnny, he was angry? You know, he wasn't doing that defensive. You know, at the end of the day, in conclusion, it's not a death penalty for shoplifting or for robbing a store. without it being hard robbery, etc. You know, he basically went in there without any weapons, you know, and ended up basically almost losing his life over it. So it is a tricky situation. It's not a death penalty for shoplifting. He was clearly very angry. You know, this wasn't about him feeling like he was a threat. He was on the attack. And the moment that assailant B turned his back and he continued to be stabbing him, that's more than neutralising the threat. Okay, he was going in hard. That was a 6-inch knife. It looked like he took it to the hilt with the last stab when he just after he'd said, "And I'm dead," or "You're killing me." That would have gone pretty bad for Johnny in a court of law. I believe that's if it made it there. Navy veteran, self-defence is hard, but is said to be broken into 3 steps options: descale the threat, neutralise threat, but no plans. So I'm going to see what Mr. Patterson's after. Hello, sir. What's going on?
Are you on?
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, I'm on.
I'm watching you on TV.
Yeah, I'm on now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to annoy you.
Yeah, okay, mate. Go to bed, you old bloody veteran. For those that don't know, this is the voice of Mr. P. You'll see Mr. P on Mr. Buckarooni's channel. You'll see him on Lauren's. You'll see him on my channel. He's a great guy that served the nation. You know,
There's a time gap there. Jesus.
Yeah, is there? What have you got to say on this one? Okay.
I'm not going to bed.
You what?
You said to me, go to bed. I'm not going to go to bed.
You always tell me to go to bed. Oh, all right, Mr. P. I'll let you go, mate. See you, copper.
If someone's stealing something out of a shop,
Yep. Yep.
now I'll tell you to get off the TV.
Oh, okay. All right, mate. Say good day to the family.
All right.
Have a good night,
Yeah.
mate. Bye-bye. Okay. Righto. I don't agree that Johnny was angry, Kaz. He looked cool, calm and collected. I'd say cold is there. He's been around the block definitely a few times, and he might be older than what he looks too. You know? And if this is his own shop, I think the only way he's getting away with this is the fact that they're not going to charge the underlings for this. And so in turn, they don't want to charge him. They might civilly if these injuries are bad enough. He stabbed him at least, 7 to 9 times. So I can't believe that he didn't have the injuries that are going to need some substantial recovery from, especially when you saw his legs were out from under him. And then Johnny basically carried him full weight and slammed him on the floor later on. He's had an interview since then where he actually basically explained, and Lauren also had a conversation with me and said that he really didn't show remorse for what he had done, and he didn't also think that really his life was in danger. You feel like going, be careful, mate. You don't know how long this case can draw out for, and you could end up going bankrupt paying the medical bills, especially in the US. Joshy Ford's Mr. Buckarooni's an unbelievable bloke. I love his story about the lineies. Yeah, me too. Maurice, Kane, I think if Johnny gets charged and goes to court, the jury will remember the kid saying, "I'm dead," because the kid's lawyers will play the sample of him saying that over and over. Yep, it's a very, what was her name? Johnny Depp. One of those moments. Those words will be remembered for a long time. Amber Heard. Hey James, how you going, mate? Did anyone bother to Google the laws there? The laws won't matter, lurker. The stand your own ground, all that sort of stuff. There's a massive difference between firing a couple of rounds straight up as soon as they come through the shop thinking, I'm not going to give them a chance. They came in with balaclavas. I know what's happening next. To jump it over there and starting to Ninja Turtle the guys with a Demtel knife set. similar to what we've got here. Okay, there's a little bit of difference. This is a bit bigger. That was a retirement present for those that don't know. Just having dinner. I'll be back. Eats all good. You can go to bed, Mr. P. We'll keep Kaz company. It's all good. Tree Man. That's a vegan name right there. Did Johnny declare he had a knife on his person? Well, and that's where it goes, Tree Man. When it comes to escalation of force, there's a lot of things we can do. The military do it very, very well. Okay, what we do is we'll put barriers up that say do not come beyond this point, and that is our first passive signal to you that you have now broken the rules and crossed that location, and now we can step up to always a step greater than what you're at. Use a knife, we use a gun, etc. Use a gun, we can use everything. And this is all based on scenarios built through the Combat Training Centre, like we discussed earlier. So you've got your rules of engagement, which we'll extensively train on, so when you get over there you understand what's going on. And we've got low-level threat cards, and we've also got red card equivalent cards, which you'll hear people talk about red cards sometimes. That means conventional warfare, which means you have to give no warning whatsoever. You can do a preemptive attack on anyone at any time, especially if they're wearing a uniform. Not easy to do in asymmetric warfare. That's why sometimes you'll hear that someone was engaged for having a phone on them, but without realising that phones can be used to detonate improvised explosive devices, or also as spotters, we're using your own rules of engagement against you to call in ambush, or a diddy mouth from the village by male fighters, etc. The escalation of force, there was no stepping up. Maybe you could say he didn't have time, but it wasn't like he was responding to a lapse in time where there was weapons present and he took an opportunity of a moment. He went straight from no to stabbing, trying to kill. He was trying to kill that guy, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. So there was no escalation of force there. There was no verbalisation of force. I'm going to call the police. I've hit a panic button whether one agreed whether he had one or not. I have a knife here. I'm willing to use it. Okay, get the fuck out or I will flog you. There was nothing. It just went from get out to can't quite cut through this spine. You know? Reasonable response. Was it reasonable? I don't think it was reasonable at any stage. You know, it was a guy half his size, pretty much, and he went straight in there with a knife while the other guy was out the door. So it wasn't 2-on-1 anymore. It was 1-on-1, and it was against someone who was smaller, who had a bag. You could have jersey whipped him around. You know, it's easy for me to say while I'm sitting here in a warm chair too. A show of force or de-escalation. We've got fight, flight, or freeze. If he froze, the guy would have taken some durries, would have been fine. If he had chosen flight, nothing would have happened. But he chose fight, okay? He chose fight, but he went to deadly force without provocation right from the jump, right from the rip. Navy, there is a reason why there are normal warning shots fired sometime. Yep, civilians can use warning shots, law enforcement and soldiers cannot. You know, and people need to understand that when a soldier tells you to do something and he's got a weapon bead on you, you know, and you don't do it, he's now allowed to engage, pretty much. And we can do it also to protect equipment, vital, essential equipment, mission, essential equipment, or those who have been deemed are on our protection list of coalition friends as well. Sean Williams, definitely feel he's been hyping up such a situation in his own head, running through his actions over and over, so when shit kicked off, he went into gear. Yeah, maybe. What is the Aussie Armoured like, Kaz? I think they're fantastic, James. We'll call you James Squire for now. I think that the Aussie Armoured Corps is my second choice, with third choice being Intelligence Corps. You know, they share the forward line, okay, the FIBA, the forward edge of the battle area with infantry. They're really good guys. They haven't got time for politics. They look like a delicatessen, sometimes the amount of salamis that are hanging down on the inside. They're pretty stand-up guys. I wish I'd appreciated them more, to tell you the truth, while I was in. To be honest, James. Kenny says, I should take your advice, stand, look, and get stabbed or beat, knocked out first, and lay down and die. And say, I should take your advice, stand, look, and get stabbed or beat down. I'm not sure whether you're being facetious or what there. No, if you see the threat is there, you can escalate. What we're saying is this guy had plenty of opportunity to stand back and go, dickhead, or plenty of opportunities. You don't have to match someone's fighting ability or your fighting ability with someone else's. Okay, but I don't think anyone can look at this and genuinely think that the shopkeeper's life was in danger. And if once you take the emotion out of it, the lawyers won't listen to emotion. They're going to only go for facts. You know, and then we're in trouble. 0 to 100 isn't the way to do it unless he was under serious threat of grievous bodily harm. Totally agree. What could have changed it? If either one of them had a knife. If either one of them had have said, give us the money or we'll kill you. Even if you never saw a weapon, everything is good to go now. Okay, you think you're in a fight for your life. Righto, what do we got here? 10 minutes on fruit salad and ice cream. I don't know what that one's about. Zane, one display of the knife could have been enough. However, these guys live in a place where guns are common. Yep. And force is met with force. Yep. I think he acted with aggression and fear and was illogical. I don't know if he didn't look scared, but Zane. He was in control of the entire situation. Not only that, he was the aggressor the entire time. Okay, at the time you had the guy in a rear naked choke. At that point you could stop, but another few stabs in the back while you're holding him doesn't look good. No. James, I like the sound of intelligence because I saw that they can go with SF guys. They can. Okay, but James, it's not as, what would you say? It's not as groovy as they might try to tell you. There's a whole lot of jobs that happen with the intelligence corps, whether it be Hume Int. You know, they're very cutting edge now. You'll probably have to learn another language, a dialect, you know. But that's another time. If you need to talk about it, mate, jump on Patreon and we'll see you on the bat phone. The link is below in comments. From there, you get a fitness card, mate. You also get communication one-on-one so we can peel the onion off for the hurdles, for the way you want to think, the way you want to talk about the situation. Did you have the stream turned off or down? Mr. P always have to turn the stream volume down. Okay. CKaz is only a phone call away. Mr. P. Sound like they knew each other's name too. William Gilding, dude was ready to kill. Absolutely. Yep. I wouldn't want that guy in my poker game. I tell you what, William. Sworn defender, I've done 12 years of working as a bouncer in nightlife settings. We've always have to wait till someone goes us or someone else first before we can get physical. There you go, sworn defender, bam. Right there. So no one can see through the bullshit and the chaos and think in a more decisive manner than people like sworn defender. Because as security, you have to accept the fact that you are going to get a young man's bluster or an old man's, you know, drank too much, I'm not getting a hot dog, I've just been kicked out. You know, they've got to sum that situation up really, really fast and then determine, is he actually just talking or is he going to swing? Yep, I've been knocked by bouncers as well, you know, and you know what? I deserved it. So sworn defender, hat off to you, mate, and thank you for your service. You know, we need good people on the door, but I've also seen some that have absolutely, in Townsville especially, gone on the attack, and some in Sydney, where it's basically they know where and what they can get away with, you know, and sometimes we have the wrong people on the door. If they were in Tour, this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, maybe it would have. Kenny. And not knowing the other two may be doing. Right. Let's have a look at the whole video one more time. By the way, it is 8 years old for folks. Wait, what are you talking about, Mr. P? Let's have a look at it one more time. 52 seconds from start to finish. For those that have just come here as well, make sure you subscribe, team. You're all welcome. Okay, put yourself in the position at the moment of Johnny. Look, he's not. He knows he's not in the threat there. He's not even looking at them. Let's have a look at that again. He doesn't even look at them. You know, he's not addressing them as a threat. He's seen them with balaclavas on. He probably thinks dickheads, or he's had this happen before. Look, doesn't even look at them, just clowns.
Where are you guys wearing masks, bro?
Gets himself into a position where he can basically defend himself from. You know, he can move up to the counter as well, up to his right, or he can slide to the left to the back door. You don't want to go to the back door, that's normally where they find the body stash.
Can you guys just
Now, the way these guys are walking around, at this moment, I'd be even thinking the one with the black hood, the short one, might even be the guy's missus.
Jacob, come here. Can I just get the... Alright.
Mistake
take the
time,
money in it,
right
I
here.
need the coins. I need the coins. Bro, okay.
Bam, bam, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm dead.
Okay, the 7th one was the big one. And then he gets him out into the neutral area. See you later. Discards the rubbish who got done for littering. And bam. Where are we? Where are we? Okay, and I think we've almost done this one to death. So overall, I think most people are saying 3 dudes, 2 inside, 1 holding the door. I believe there was a 3rd person holding the door as well. I think you're right there. Unknown Fox 994. Apparently there was a 3rd guy. Look at during the jump from his close-up view. What would you think it would look like? I'm not sure. Zane Akez, how exactly does specialties work in the infantry after 3 years? How does the whole process work and what options are there? We're not really speaking about that tonight, Zane. But what's happening is basically you'll be in the military, in the infantry, fully qualified. You know, once you get to the position where you are a private P, proficient, then from there you can start to look at the support company courses, potentially sniper pre-selection, special forces, promotion, and then start to skill tree towards whether it be recon, surveillance or snipers in that platoon conglomerate there, whether you go to heavy weapons or direct fire support weapons, whether you go to assault pioneers and extension of engineers, whether you go to mortars, you know, or whether you go to signals corps. Platoon. Yep. And one day, hopefully, they'll have a medical platoon. Aussie bloke, good work. Where'd the knife come from? I don't know. Aussie, I've looked at that a bunch of times. I still can't see where he gets it from. You can't say from down his sleeve because he's wearing a t-shirt. Oh, thanks there, Cameron. Cameron's just saying he jumped on the Patreon. Well, let's have a talk in the next couple of days. I've got another couple of phone calls tomorrow. And, mate, it's always a pleasure. You know, 2 great minds can come together, or 1 average one and 1 cool one. We'll be good to go. He did call for a medic for him. He walked back to get his phone. Yep. Yeah. But that doesn't erase what you did before. What he did beforehand, does it? One thing to take out a possible threat, but he should have gone into first aid mode instead of dumping him in a heap. There, I don't think it's going to Briggsy. I think you're right. I think the way he dumped him on the ground, you know, was probably looked pretty heartless too. I bet the guy is going to be looking at his friends when he gets out of the hospital and going, Jesus, thanks fellas. I guess you're not coming to Christmas. Table where the cash machine was. I think he picked up the knife beside the register. I think he did too, Nicole. I don't know, but my old eyes just can't see it. Now, I'm not sure if he had it beside the mouse when he was stuffing around with that when you could see the red light on the cash register. But there's so many situations of this, guys, honestly. We saw some US police firing on an assailant that got onto a motorbike and were still shooting him as he rode away. And the other cops, you could see, had their weapons like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, Rob, what are you doing, bro? You're not allowed to shoot once they're gone. He's not a threat to us yet. You're not allowed to give lethal shots at someone who is not posing a threat to others. Honestly, if someone breaks into my house, all bets are off. Yep, that's different. But you know what, Navy veteran? We don't have cameras in our houses, do we? Oh, look, that's what I tell my wife. Haven't got one. She found my camera. It's my castle, and this is one of the reasons why Navy veteran, where I think people like yourself that are fully qualified in weapon systems, more so than a police officer, should be allowed to actually have a weapon at home. Just so the bad guy in the street knows that some of the houses around here are going to have Mr. P's, are going to have Dave Pensons, are going to have Navy veterans, Aussie blokes, are going to have Daz, are going to have Kaz there. He did walk back to get his phone to call 911 and get him a medic. Yep. But that's not necessarily going to help your reaction, you know? Because it's going to keep coming back to at what stage do you believe your life was in danger? I'm not saying USA is a weird place, man. People get off some weird shit. Don't leave it with the judges, some people say. Aussie bloke, if there was no word saying they had weapons or made any threats about using a weapon, then this in Australia would just be aggravated theft and stealing. Maybe. And then we'd be banning knives. Have you tried eating soup with a fork? You don't need a knife there either, Kaz. Sorry. Never let the truth get in the way of a good yarn. Chopper. Totally agree. Guys and gals, I've been in situations overseas where situations have occurred where if you ask the civilians, populace, to judge it, they'd go, no, what you did was fine. But through the military lens, through rules of engagements, through escalation, through probable cause and threat, you know, as well as mission-orientated outcomes and the effect of the strategic message of winning friends and influence people, winning hearts and minds, so to speak, absolutely you'd be in the wrong. An example of that was, for example, at Rwanda, we were not allowed to, you know, prevent, you know, RPA from taking out innocent people, including children. Not allowed to. They weren't part of our rules of engagement. And if you had have engaged one of them, then you could have been going to jail. It doesn't have to make sense, team. Because there's a precedent in the US that allows police and citizens to use lethal force. Stand your ground, I understand that. Force for an assailant who is fleeing, who poses a threat to others. Don't know whether this can be applied in the bike case. There's no cases where you're allowed to shoot someone on a motorbike who's riding away from you, mate. Same as you're not allowed to shoot at someone who's in a car who's driving away, like you see in the movies. You know, there's plenty of examples, you know, of soldiers and police, whether it be in the UK, USA, Australia, etc., when someone is driven through a roadblock and then they've been fired at and the actual person in the car has been hit. And from there, okay, criminal charges can go against that soldier or police force, right? Same deal, like we said earlier on in this video. He's very, very lucky, the two that ran away when their friend got basically the julienne steak knife collection, because if he had died, then the other two might have been done for manslaughter of their own friend, because it was a premeditated action that went into that establishment intending on doing hard armed robbery if they proved they had weapons, that ultimately ended up and concluded in the death of their friend. So they can be held responsible for the actions that were caused by an unwilling participant that takes the life of another member of their crew. That's a real thing. I wonder if the US went to war with a red corn chip, would Johnny be found to be the offender? I don't know. Kevin, looting etc. never stops because there's never people defending, and even in America there's so many times people just tell to get out, then they get beat by 20. Yep. David Dawn, I think his name was so sad. He was a black gentleman that was killed by black assailants while he was trying to protect a store from them looting it. They didn't give a shit. It was supposed to be for Black Lives Matter, and they kicked him to death, you know, in front of the shop that he didn't even own. Yep. It had nothing to do with what's right, what's wrong. It was all about just stealing an opportunity. I'm sorry, a lot of experience was in Rwanda. Politicians failed us a lot. The world failed that one. The United Nations failed, I believe. If there was oil in Rwanda, there probably wouldn't have been a problem. You know? Everyone would have stood in. Leo, who goes to the dojo, I wouldn't let anyone steal any of my mates' lives, nor the lives of my own, because it's simply not on. Yeah. Charlie D, spot on. It always feels, what would you say, more complicated when you're there, you know, but it's not. It's all about what you do, and did what you do, was it right? You know, because at the end of the day, the court doesn't take into account how long you had to make a decision, especially if you were trained and have a weapon system that has been entrusted to you by a government and by a coalition force to be there. An example of that. See you later, Mr. P. Good to have you here, mate. It always is. Going to watch Netflix. Good on you, mate. Night, Jim Bob. is when we go to, for example, the Sinai Peninsula, where you'll be going to the Camp David Accords to observe what's happening between the Middle East, namely the Egyptians, and their peace treaty with Israel, etc. And then you've got the Palestinians that are also in a position up there, and other stakeholders in that environment. You actually have to sign on and become an Egyptian citizen because you're on sovereign soil of Egypt. You know, so that if you stuff up over their rules of engagement or whatever, you can end up going to an Egyptian jail instead of an Australian one. You know, and that would be less than ideal. We should also appreciate the foolishness of bringing a knife. If you bring a knife, you've got to accept the fact it's probably going to get used on you, or you're going to end up using it when you didn't want to, push to, ego, etc. Doesn't work out well for anyone. Okay, free time, guys. In conclusion, when we spoke about the rules of engagement, escalation of force, reasonable force, show of face, or de-escalation, life-threatening gestures or statements. Okay, shopkeeper's options, freeze, flight, fight. Previous knowledge, what do we know about this shopkeeper? Questions, were weapons carried? No. By the assailants? No. Were threats made? No. Was there an imposing posture? No. Yeah, all of these things are going to get stripped to pieces by whoever pays more for a lawyer. And they can all be glad that that kid didn't die. Otherwise, this would be a completely different conversation. Or it'd be different. So good on him. And I reckon those two guys are going to have some post-traumatic stress from this situation. And hopefully this is enough to make all three of them go, holy shit, we stuffed up, and potentially even come back and have a sit down between a police officer, a guidance officer, and also with Johnny. And they all sit down and find out what were you actually there to do? Did you mean him any harm? Actually looking in the eyes of Johnny and having him say, dudes, there were three of yous. I didn't know what was going to happen. We've seen so much violence around Las Vegas, Nevada lately. I just had to secure that I've got a kid waiting at home, or whatever it is. If they did that, those interventions, maybe there'd be more chance that people would be able to go, okay, no hard feelings. Let's get out of here. Don't know. I don't know if that's part of the repatriation process for victims and assailants. That was going to be my next question. Cheers. Hey, Pat, how you going, mate? Can you say there's this show in one part in the story, man comes in with his army. He loots a whole village of their food. The villagers say, spare us some food and until the winter's over for the children. Okay. And soldiers are normally acting on orders. And we've got to talk about the time that we're talking about too. No one had a good, in the past. No one. Yeah. How soon does he reach out after we sign up? Or is it, hey, Pat, just say his no to him. Okay, since you're asking. I believe you're taking the bat phone, talk about the bat phone. If you get onto the bat phone team and you go onto Patreon, the same day I will send you a message almost straight away, as soon as I see your name pop up. And what that'll do is give the bat phone number. From there, what you do is you text me, and let me know. It's Pat from the stream, okay? And then if you want one, I will send you one of these cards. You'll go in the group. The fitness card will be coming to your door. Other than that, I'll also fill out a time for you when it's good for you to have up to an hour, normally, conversation. And you can have as many of those hours as you want, but just one to initially get to know each other, find out what your dilemmas are, answer your questions, etc., right, and make you realise that you're not in whatever situation you're in alone. Right? There to help. So that's what happens. So you should get a message within an hour of actually saying, hey, Kaz, I'm here. Now, some people take forever to look back and go, oh, yeah, you did message me straight away. There you go. So good. If you're going to come to Patreon, but team, can we just ask that you don't be a Pepsi drinker, or that you plan on getting away from Pepsi? Yeah, I've got a real love-hate relationship with that beverage. Kenny, Story continues. The soldier says, I won't kill you, but I will not kill you. You will starve and die on your own. Oh, is that a movie, Kenny? You won't last through winter. Are we talking about Russia? Yeah. Anyway, team, just something a little bit different. Extrapolating some information. What we might go into is a couple of questions now for you. When I'm happy to answer those questions, whatever they are. But the conclusion of this is just think before you act. And don't be afraid if your mate is acting like a dickhead when you go out, to pull him up, because there's always one person in every group of 5, 10, 15 that just wants to fight when you go out, but normally they're the ones that won't get injured. It'll be one of you that ends up getting a shit kicking of your lifetime, or even sadder, that you end up hurting some of them that normally would have been great people, but were just representing their group while you were representing yours. How can we be lovers if we can't be friends? Think before you act, show your maturity, and remember, the next day, you'll always regret what happened the night before. How did it get to this? James K. Hey, mate, I would just like to say I've been watching a lot of your ADF vids and I find them really interesting and informative. Keep up the good work. James, thank you for that, mate. The reason we do it is because there is a gap between reality and fake news that happens in the way that DFR presents information. And that's because, one, I want you to join, but two, every person is individually different, okay? So there is not one set message they can give that will please everyone without upsetting some. So they're an employer. They've only got a set amount of numbers. They need to fill them with the best possible people, as well as the political quotas that they've been demanded to fill. And from there, once you get to Kapuka, it's you and the groups of people that you love, or will become battle buddies. When you get to Kapuka, we got a phone call on Sunday, and Mark is his first name. I won't say what his last name is. Like the video if you can, team. If you don't, hit the down thumbs. I can take it. Rules of engagement, so to speak. And he's still got 40 days to go, and he's only halfway through, and he said, I've never worked so many days in a row without a break. It's not that it's hard, it's just that it never stops. Yep. Nevesi, Kaz, would you recommend me approaching unit life rather than training? Unit life rather than training? I don't know what you mean by there, mate. Job's closing soon, I'm off. Okay, IQ Net, great to have you here too. Hey Cameron, ciao amigo. There we go, full Spanish jargon there. Someone's watched a bit of Dora. Lauren, sweet dreams, IQ Neg. Joshy Fawns, get up early, go to bed early. Nevi. Jump in and say g'day in the chat if you haven't before. Let's quickly. Oh, there's Frizz. G'day, mate. I'll be messaging you in a moment. Let's quickly let Lauren help us wrap up this tonight, because she actually read up on the story too.
Hello.
Hey, Lauren.
Hello.
Hola. I just wanted to ask you, from a female's perspective, someone that has the fear of having so many sons.
Yes.
A mother must shit herself when she sees 4 or 5 of her family go out and think, please let them all come home.
Oh, yeah.
Even a night in town.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. It doesn't end.
Do you know what happens every single day of the year?
A lot of stuff. What?
Good people hurt good people.
Yeah. It happens. One little incident, one split-second decision.
Yep, sworn defender. How many times would have he seen someone as a security on a door, a guy that's always a good dude, beat the living shit out of another guy who's always a good dude, both of them stepping in because of a girl that's on one high heel talking shit, or because their mate, has lost some honour inside and wants to throw down and he champions his cause.
Yep, it just can happen that quickly. I don't think people plan for their evenings to go like this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been an interesting subject, though.
I've been really happy with the responses there. where people are getting so invested in what the story is, seeing a diversity of thoughts and opinions, throwing some different considerations in there. It is good.
It is good because, I think I've made my mind up about it, and then someone says something and I go, I actually hadn't thought about that, but then there's this, it's an interesting, just ethical sort of thing, because probably nothing will come of it, in the courts, but thankfully the boy lived.
Yeah.
But it's still very interesting to think of, where do we draw the line? Because we have Kenny there saying, the shopkeeper was right because we need to stop this happening. And I'm thinking, but I don't think anarchy is the answer.
Yeah, and that won't stop it happening. What it ends up is with good people in jail.
Yeah, we don't want anarchy. We have to do this through the law. And if you don't like the law, then we have avenues that you can, lobby to get that changed. And
let's also look from the consideration. Let's just say that Johnny Nguyen has never done anything wrong in his life, and this was his first blemish, but the kid dies. He'd end up going to jail, and guess what's going to happen? It doesn't matter what he did to get in there. He is going to get beatings. He will get raped. He will become a part of the prison complex, all because at the time he thought he was doing something right. People will forget his name as quick as they forgot
exactly.
What's his name? Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. No, it's true, and I think he's very fortunate that it did end up that way. He's fortunate that it worked out well for the young man.
There you go. Sworn defender just said, I've had to fight guys that weeks before had my back and helped me with a dickhead.
Yeah.
Sworn defender, I'll tell you I used to go out nearly 4 days a week for 20 years when I wasn't overseas or out. And it wasn't uncommon for me the next day or whatever to go up and say and apologise to bouncers for the behaviour of one our group or actually myself. The profanity, the bad behaviour, the next day, it's a terrible thing. And you'd probably get angry when people come up and say, sorry, go, mate. If it only ever happens one in your life, I might forgive you for that. But I bet you've heard people say, I'm sorry, and then the next night there they are again. And they're just that raging dickhead on the piss. Yeah.
Exactly. Repeating the same behaviour that they were apparently sorry for before.
I forgot Jackson's name. I don't forget Jackson's name.
No, exactly. And you know what? Listen, folks, you're lucky we remember any of your names, okay? Truthfully.
Elijah.
Yeah, and we've got Mitchell here who's saying g'day, he's a lurker.
Mitchell. Do you know what? Because my eyes are so shit, this is a confession. 2 words that really spin me out is when I've met someone whose name is Virginia, because I think they're talking about ladies' anatomy. And then when I see Mitchell, I always think it's Michelle at first, and I think I'm getting swiped right. And then I find out, no, it's Mitchell. Oh, shit. Yeah. That right means left. It's just you're looking at the screen.
You could get yourself into a pickle like that.
I could. Elijah, that's 3,000 views of entertained individuals worth of dinero there. Not too cow. They don't make hands like they used to. Go and see The Black Phone too, guys. We've also got some great movies coming out. One is called The Orphan. And there's another one if you like scary movies.
Yeah.
Guys, good chat, Kaz.
Yep, Sworn Defender has said the problem is young people are so hypersensitive that they've all forgotten that words don't hurt. And that's actually a very fair point. It's really easy to stay out of fights if you swallow your ego in the moment. That's true. Make good micro choices.
Okay, James K, I posted a comment on your Australian Army basic recruitment at Kapuka video you streamed about 2 weeks ago. I'd appreciate if you could read it and respond. Cheers. James, you do know, do you have any idea of how many comments that I answer on a daily basis, as well as phone calls?
Too many.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Is there any chance that you can, James, is there any chance that you can go to that, click and paste it on this video, and I will
just repeat it,
and I will in fact get to it, mate. Because
exactly.
Yeah, it is impossible. I get people go to the truth video that's had the most views, And I'll see some comments there that have been there for 8 months ago. I didn't even see that one come up.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell me when it comes
yeah.
up.
Exactly, it doesn't always tell you, and we've got this thing around here that it's just perfectly fine to keep repeating the same question.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Like, bring it to chat with you. Sometimes Kaz will take your army questions at the end of a chat or something.
And to tell you the truth, if it's that important, jump on the bat phone and have a phone call with me instead.
Yep, exactly. I've popped the link in there.
So, Michelle.
Being cheeky.
Dave D. There's a particular segment of society that weaponises words. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It does. It does. However, there is, I think when it comes to being called names and things like that, I think we could actually do with just, toughening up a little bit.
Well, look, I nearly got rid of this channel at the start. Not this channel, the first channel, which I lost at 16,000 subscribers. Cheers, James. And that is because we had a particular person, I don't know where he was from, he wasn't Australian, and he would get on there and just be typing continually, comment after comment after comment about how he's glad that Australian Anzacs had died, and he loves to hear when an Australian soldier dies and all that. And I was like, why do I do this?
Yep.
Why do I do it? But honestly, there is so many. We get almost no trolls here. At one stage, Lauren said to me, "You've got to a stage where you're going to start to get all the trolls soon."
Yeah, because you say some controversial things, and I think it's the way you say them. You're genuine. You're coming from a place of genuineness. You're not coming from a place of being nasty.
Or I say the nasty things after the 10-minute mark and so they don't see it.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But, it's like I think people could be tougher, and I think it actually doesn't do us a justice if we start policing each other's words. It doesn't do anyone any good.
It's true. Hey, we've got Vanessa Sinclair here.
She looks a little sad.
She does look a little bit sad.
Well,
I hope you're okay,
sad.
love. I'll cheer you up by letting you know there is 2 particular names in this world that make me absolutely get a shiver of, oh, hello. One of those is Vanessa, and that's even though I've been married and divorced to one. And the other one is, there's sort of 3. The other one is Gabrielle, the girl version, and Paige.
Yeah, they're beautiful names.
They are beautiful names.
I believe Vanessa means butterfly, I think.
I didn't know that. Butterfly means something else in Thailand.
I could be wrong, but I think it means butterfly.
Yep.
But don't be sad. Don't be sad, Vanessa.
Cameron says at the end of the day, whenever people insult you, there's no reason to let it get to you. Unfortunately, in 20 years, you're not going to remember it. Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. It's true. Remember to control your reactions, because otherwise you'll be easily led. People will be able to pull your strings.
Well, that's that saying, they live in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rent-free. Yeah, Vanessa, that makes us sad too. We've had a few baby killer comments, haven't we? But we don't get that anymore. We've got a really great community.
It is a great community. And if you see the phone calls that we go through here, but honestly, some of the best things, and this is, by the way, we've paid Lightfoot his money for his joggers too for the fitness card for being the first one to fill it out. But tell us what you think about this.
Okay.
For some reason, and I'm gonna group women all into one group here.
That's okay. Okay, noted.
Women are shit at buying toys for kids. You always try to look for a cheap way out. I see kids in the Lego shop and they're going, I want the castle. And she's going, but what about this pony? It's only a third of the price. You're going, that's not what he wanted. What I'm thinking and asking permission for those from Patreon is, do I have permission to go in and actually, when I see a mum that's in there with a couple of kids in the Lego shop that's just opened up in Western Sydney.
Oh, wow.
I might put a few $100 in her hand and say, you get the kids that Lego because it goes towards looking after them. It's to do with peace of mind. It's hobby making. And I know that she's never as a mum going to spend $200 on the Lego when it's not his birthday. But anyone that's ever loved Lego, knows that, it is an investment into a kid.
Yep. Okay, here's James K's question.
Okay, excellent.
He's put it in the chat.
Let's do it here.
Okay. I have a question about Kapuka initial training and School of Infantry. You mentioned about how it's voluntary to leave. Does that mean while you are in training to become an infantry soldier?
No. And I'm glad you asked that during this one, James. And read out the second part too, please, Lauren.
The second part is you can't be forced to fail because of not being fit enough or not being able to complete a course, or if you faint. Or the way you fail is by voluntarily quitting, or is there another way?
Well, I don't know why you're trying to join if you're already trying to plan a way of getting out, unless you're there already. Okay, I'll answer your question. Lego is great economy memes. This is why I don't like females going for infantry. For what happens is they've made it a multi-tiered system so that when they go to Kapuka, they don't have to do a BFA, the swim test. They don't have to do all those things to get out of Kapuka that show that strength and resilience required to be an infantry. During a time that they could quit, so they've got rid of that, and then they pass on. The person won't be able to pass the test, and on the very first day of being at the School of Infantry, where you cannot quit anymore, then you get stuck in this maelstrom of failures where you turn up there, first day, fail the BFA, and then they find out, is this medical, psychological, administrational problem that we've got with you, but you're not going into session, so now you're stuck in purgatory.
Yep.
You're stuck here now. Until they work out medically what they're going to do with you, and depending on how many people are at the holding platoon, you might be there for a considerable amount of time before they even then say this person now needs to be drop boxed into administrational or medical discharge based on untrainable, or psychological screening where you've said things to the effect of, I can't be here anymore, it's hurting me. So you can't actually quit. You can say you don't want to be here, but it's going to be a long, long process to get the hell out of there. And what's more, it's going to be a permanent tinge or tarnish against the way you look at yourself. Because you'll be there for so long when you start to go, maybe I could do it. Oh, no, I don't want to do it. And, if you quit something that you put your hand up and say no through affirmation for you, I'm not here to judge you, but you'll judge yourself. You'll go, oh, fuck, what do I do now? Because it's going to take so much time and effort and energy to go in there. So just be careful. Be careful. It's not for everyone, and it's a professional athlete's job. So just make sure that you have the mental resilience as well as the physical resilience, and people aren't lifting their eyebrows when you go, I'm thinking about going to infantry. They're going, are you sure, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
See you later, Cameron.
See you, Cameron. It's a commitment, though, isn't it? And I think sometimes people can get out of commitments a little too easily. So you have to really get back to what the root of the word commitment means.
Well, giving your word, giving your honour, giving your family name.
Yep, a bond.
You've got to take that word quitting out of your mind, because you're not just tarnishing them. How many people are so proud of you when you go to Kapuka? I've had parents crying on the phone before, on the bat phone.
Yeah.
Because they're so proud of their kid getting in, and then ringing me at Kapuka, then ringing me at the School of Infantry. It's a beautiful moment. It really is.
Yep, exactly. Itzwa said they've sorted out their Patreon. What do they need to do to get the fitness card?
All you got to do is give me a message.
Okay.
As soon as you get on the Patreon, or you're on Patreon, you just send me a message on the bat phone, and then I'm going to send it. Look at this. Yep. Thank you, Eats. That's another 20 prepaid envelopes just waiting for the next people to send off.
Yep. There you go, Eats. That's what you've got to do.
But the whole thing about getting the card, team, is each week at least beat one of your scores that is on the card. Beat one, because every one of them is a PB. So if someone comes up to you and you go 2.4, what's your time? And it says 13 minutes, 12 seconds. And you go, but I can do it quicker. I go, no, you can't. Because it says 13 minutes, 12 seconds. Until that changes on here, that's your time.
Yep. Indeed.
Yeah.
I actually can't even see the chat anymore. I just had a power outage.
Oh, that's okay. We've got to get out of here too, because you guys have been very respectful. Hung on here tonight. And we appreciate everything
They
you do.
have.
You know, and
They've been really good.
we're
Been
gonna.
an interesting conversation.
It is. I probably could have structured it better, but it's such a short
it's good.
video that it's so hard. And I'm sure that almost every one of you has seen the schoolyard fight. Every one of you have seen a fight outside a club. You know, some of you have seen fight in gyms. You know, it's these things can happen every day, and they can be catastrophic. So just remember that when you have an argument with your next door neighbour as well, that it can go pear-shaped really badly.
And remember, try to de-escalate if you can at all. De-escalate the situation. You don't need to win points from stupid arguments.
Yep. I'm just going to finish off on James K, because it is an interesting question here.
Sure.
I am looking at joining, but I was just curious whether they can ask you to leave. Yes, they can.
Yes.
If you cannot pass physically, they can ask you to leave on medical or administrational grounds. If you faint during things, you know, they're going to look at that very, very seriously. Because if you faint during PT, what's going to happen when you're actually doing the job, when you're nowhere near a hospital? They can't call a Casevac in contested territories while you're on operational theatre because you don't have the fitness, you know, to be able to do the job. Okay, so physical resilience and toughness is something I used to back squad people on all the time. If you get 3 back squads, quite often, if it's for trainability, you'll be then told, okay, you're going to another corps or discharge. So they can do that, man.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck, Arcane. He wants us to wish him luck for his U session tomorrow.
Yeah, Arcane, just read, and we had a talk today. He let me know, I'm Arcane. You'll see me there.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah, look, he's going too hard on himself. He's going to be fine tomorrow.
Yeah, you probably will be fine. Stay cool.
Hey, Matty C. Okay, just join the Patreon. Where do I find the phone number to send a text message? Okay, if you joined up, what it'll do, it will send me a reminder that someone just joined, and then from there, I will send it to you straight away, mate. Okay? So as soon as we get off here, you'll have it. Go to sleep, go and play Family Island or Clash of Clans, and sometime tonight or when you wake up, you're going to have a message waiting for you with the bat phone number saying, let's set up a time to have a chat that's good for you, and boom, the card will be already getting printed to get sent to your house. All right, so you need to send me just your name too, because some people have got some weird names on here, Butt Cowboy, and I'm not going to send a letter to the Butt Cowboy. You know, I didn't know what your name is.
Maybe they thought they were joining your OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's gold. Well, guys and gals, coffee's a friend. You need it in your life. I'm going to go and ring my daughter now. I'm going to talk for Lauren a little bit longer because I want to sort out some sort of way of assisting her with the project mission. Let's just say she's on vapors at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I probably have breathed in a few too many paint fumes lately.
What's PSN?
I have no idea.
What's PSN, Kenny?
I don't know. It seems important. What do you need $10 for it for?
I don't even know what it is.
I don't know what that is either.
All right, guys and gals, let's get out of here. Take it easy, team, and do it to them before they do it to you. Better go do some real work, night team. See you later, Sworn Defender. Take it easy on my arm when you chicken wing it. See you later, guys. Thank you for your PlayStation. Got it. Yeah. You're showing your age now, Kenny.
Yeah, exactly. Night, Dave.
All right. See you later, night, Dave.
Yeah, got to say good night to Dave.
See you later. Don't get yourself those positions, team. Learn from the mistakes of others. See you later. The ball keeps rolling.